What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquering Trading and Investing, and we are getting ready right now to do our weekly Forex forecast for the week of November 11th through the 15th. And before we get into it, listen, really important, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, do so right now. Every day, Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, we are live streaming, trading the markets together. You could ask questions, post charts, follow my review of the markets. We got some great trades this week. It was our first week of streaming. It's a good thing. I'm going to stick with it. I really enjoyed the community. We were prepared for our weekly forecast the week before. We had some really nice trades develop. We were ready for them. Made some nice profits this week. Come join us. Again, if you hadn't already subscribed to the channel, do so right now, and let's get started with our weekly Forex forecast now. All right, first things first, and we need to look at the calendar for next week. You need to make sure before you get into a trade on any currency pair, there is no high impact news events upcoming that's going to catch you by surprise. We see right away on Tuesday we have out of the New Zealand Central Bank, we do have a rate announcement decision. They're expected to cut the interest rate by a quarter basis points. This seems to be already pricing into the market as the New Zealand dollar was showing weakness against most currency pairs this week, especially on Friday. We also have out of the US on Wednesday their CPI readings, and more importantly on Friday we do have retail sales and core retail sales. The market is going to be looking to make sure that the US consumer is still holding up the economy. That's really important, and that could be one of the most important news events of the week. Now let's get to the charts. We're going to start off with the Euro US dollar, and the first thing we notice, we started off at this blue box you're going to see on every currency pair. This is showing the range of the prior week. We use that to key off of, and we see that we started at the top of this range and have traded straight down 5 days in a row all week, and we also have started making lower lows than the previous week. Okay, now going into last week, and this is really important, pay attention. Going into last week, we had this lower trend line of channel support, and we were looking on long side trades unless that was broken, right? That was broken earlier on the week. Let's see how we traded, because this pair, actually we still have a trade open, has provided some really nice profits so far this week. We're going to pull up the true trend. If you haven't already viewed this video on how to use the true trend, go ahead and watch that video right now. That's going to really help you understand how to always be on the right side of the market and how to get into trades at the best possible opportunity. Now we had, and this is really important to review, we had the break and close below this trend line, right? And then we had price come up and test that trend line, which now had become resistance, and then started really resuming this downtrend, okay? We had the true trend cross to the negative side over here. Now it was over here on this price bar on the Wednesday morning live stream where I noted that we now had the entry CCI really pulled back against the trend, and this was offering us an opportunity to look for an entry, and that my entry would be at the low of this price bar if price were to go ahead and take us back into the trade, which it did. Not only that, it then came up and came close to taking out my stop loss, which did hold, and also offered another opportunity on Thursday morning for traders to get into this trade, and since has been taking off. Now what we need to do is look for where we're taking profits. You don't really want to be looking to enter short this trade right now. The opportunity to get short has already occurred. You can still get short next week once we have opportunity through the entry CCI allowing us into the trade. What you're looking for here, and I have this area down here as my first take profit target. I only have the stop loss put into this trade. I don't have the take profit level put in. What I want to do as price is approaching this level as it is getting close now, I want to reevaluate and see what's happening. And what I know is going on is that the US dollar is showing a lot of strength today, and I do expect that to continue going into early next week. So I'm not looking to take profit just yet. As we get closer down here to this line of support, you can see the support was resistance over here. It broke and has since been tested, and the support held. Now, this is going to be my take profit zone. Unless price crashes through there, unless it really falls through there hard and fast, and at which point I will be holding all the way down to a test of these lows down here, I will look to take profit over here That would be a fantastic trade. Now again, we use this time together over the weekend to prepare our trading plan for next week. It really gives us an edge as trading occurs in real time. At the same time, each day I'm walking you through what's developing in the markets. If you don't have time to join us, and I welcome you to join us at 9 a.m. Eastern Times for live stream, go ahead and review that in your own time. I also include timestamps during the day for the trade pairs that we're looking at, which makes it really helpful for you to get in there and see what's going on and prepare yourself. Now let's look at the US dollar, Japanese yen. Now we always start looking at the daily time frame. From the daily time frame, in that perspective, we're able to drop down to lower time frames to get better entries on the pair. But we plan out from the daily. On the daily time frame, what do we see? A couple of things. The first thing that I want to show you is what we've been looking at. We have this triangle that we've been watching and which clearly has broken to the upside. We could see two things. The first thing we notice is that this resistance over here, and which was the top of last week's trading range, was pierced and taken out. Now, we do have this upper trend line. You could see here that it looks and it appears that this narrow wedge, I just added this to the chart today. So we were looking at this pair without this trend line. This is how we've been trading it. We've been trading for this triangle. We were looking for the breakout, which got, yes, the Japanese yen is a little strong today on Friday, but this trade is still technically very solid. The breakout is in effect. You might even get a better entry down over here. Last week, we were looking at this spot as waiting for the breakout and a retest to get in. That's still valid. We have profit target if we get into a long trade, or if you're already in a long trade, all the way up here. I got into this trade earlier in this week and my stop loss placement was not in the correct spot. I did get stopped out of the trade. The trade has since gone back in favor and is still a valid trade. Now, what do we see? This is still a very sound trade. People that got onto this trade are holding tight and it is above the overall breakout of this triangle area. US dollar, Canadian dollar, this pair is actually working out textbook according to our plan. We had in here this sell zone drawn in here in this area of overhead resistance, and prices just touched the top of that today. It has broken the high of last week's range. However, I am not looking to buy this pair. Why? Well, we're clearly in a downtrend. And although right now we are seeing lots of signs and signals of US dollar strength, if that does roll over, we expect the Canadian dollar to lead the way on the way down. So we are looking for places to get in and to sell, and it's not yet. This has alerted us today that we are now in an area where we want to watch it for selling. But we're going to wait until it's at least halfway into this range or higher, testing the top of this resistance here to look to take some shorts. Right now, we are just alerted and watching this pair. How are we going to do that? Well, we have the true trend as our guide. We could wait for price to come up near this resistance, and then once it starts rolling over, we could get in short. We'll look at that as it develops. Right now, this is just something we want to be aware of. By watching certain patterns play out, by watching certain trades develop ahead of time, when they do actually, and if they do get to the place that meets our criteria, we are all set to go ahead and take advantage of them and profit off them. What you don't ever want to do is be preemptive, and because you think a certain thing might happen, is get into that trade early. It's always better to wait for that confirmation. It's always better to seeing price momentum, getting you going on your side and getting you into that trade, confirming your signal. It's a lot easier to manage the trade when you go into it into profit from the beginning rather than it going against you. So this is really important. It's really important to plan out trades and then execute according to your plan. Right now, we're just on the sidelines on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. All right, now let's take a look at the euro versus the Japanese yen. What do we have here? Look at it with me. What we're seeing that price is still within this 3-week consolidation period, but it does appear now possibly to be breaking down out of it. We do have a very weak euro versus the US dollar weighing in on this pair, and we are starting to see signs of Japanese yen strength. This is a pair that now gets green lighted going into next week. As early as Monday, we could have a possible entry on this. As we break down below this range, which appears quite likely could happen now, we're going to see the trend the true trend turn negative at the same time. That's going to be our first possible signal to get into the trade. However, we're not going to play that breakout on the break itself. What we're going to do is we're going to wait, because price tends to come back after the break and test and make sure that what was support has now become resistance. As that test of resistance occurs, we're going to see the entry CCI, the blue line here, turn upwards against the downtrend, and that's going to be our trade criteria to look for an entry. We will then wait for price to take us into that trade. If it successfully resumes the trend downward, we will get in and we will be looking for take profits in this area over here against this upward sloping trend line of this channel that price is trading within. So this looks like it's a nice trade developing. This looks like it's going to be a possible short trade for us early into next week. Do I want to take it trade now and try to get a better entry? Absolutely not. That's just a disaster waiting to happen. Always, as a trader, you have to show discipline. You have to show patience. Wait for the setup to occur and then attack. All right, now looking at the Australian dollar, US dollar, we have another beautiful trade setup occurring. So this one we were watching, we didn't get a chance. There was no opportunities yet to get into a short trade on this because things just today turned negative, right? Let's look at what happened so that we understand it. And then next week, we're able to really go ahead and try to get short this pair if we're able to do it. So here's what we're looking at. We had this trend line here of support, which broke today. We also had this long trend line of support, which also broke today. We had said earlier in the week, we looked at this on Wednesday and Thursday, and we said if we do get below these two areas of support and into this zone, well, we'll be looking to obviously take short trades. That's what happened today. We also decided against getting long at any point above these areas of support because there simply was no clear signal. Now we're going to expect to see a trend change really quick, probably on Monday, probably on the close of today. And then what we're going to see happen, or we're going to wait to trade, is we're just going to wait for this entry CCI to pull back against the trend. That will be on this retest over here of this support line. And if that doesn't hold, it's quite possible that this one doesn't hold and price comes up to test this one over here. Either which way, we're going to wait for the signal of price resuming downward to get us back into that trade. And if that does occur, we will then be looking for shorts because we have some nice downside room. We have the first target over here. If you see the crosshair, you see it here. You see this was resistance, 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 broke. And you see what happens when price breaks through resistance? You see how when it really breaks through, that is when you have a break. That is why, now coming back to the Euro US dollar, I said over here at this level, if price breaks through there, then I will be holding it longer to see whether or not I get some more downside movement on that pair. But if price starts bouncing off this area right here, if it doesn't really gush through there, I'm going to be taking profits. All right, back to the Australian dollar US dollar. Back to the Australian dollar US dollar, we did have this resistance broken here, and then price came back down and tested it as support. So this will be my first take profit level. If price does trade down to here, if we get into a short and price trades down here, I will be looking to see if price breaks through there. And if it breaks through there, then we have a lot more downside potential, or whether or not price kind of stalls out, and at that point we'll take profit off the trade. So this is a nice pair for us going into next week that we really want to be aware of. That could provide a nice opportunity for us. Moving over to the pound US dollar. Now we were again also watching this one all week. We were prepared, and we were prepared for a break over here of this support. You see over here you had the lower end of the range, and then over here again, and then yesterday again that was tested. So if you go ahead and you draw in this support, you could see it clearly. Now we did have a break this morning during the New York session of this trade. I did get into this trade with a short here. I have a very tight stop loss, and it's at the high, a little above the high of today's daily price bar, because on this break, on this pierce below, if price doesn't stick, then I'm just going to get out of the trade. Of course, there might be more ample opportunity to get into this trade on Monday because, again, as you're well aware, normally what happens is on a break, price will come back and test that break to make sure that it has become support. So there is the possibility of getting into this trade early on Monday. I will help and walk you through that during the live training and live stream, 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. And again, you can watch those videos at your own convenience on the replay, which is uploaded to the channel. Now we do have the pound Japanese yen, and the pound Japanese yen is showing us similar. We have 3 weeks of consolidation in this range. Price has not broken down. It is still holding out after this pretty enormous 1,000 pip price gain. And although it's trading towards the low of this range, it's still holding it. And until you get a breakout, we're not going to be even looking for it. We do see other pairs that are actually showing more signs of breaking down. They're showing more momentum. They're showing more opportunity. We want to be trading active markets. Active markets are going to give us the highest probability of success. And this one is just showing us, well, it's still stuck in no man's land and it's not yet breaking down, and it's definitely not breaking up. So we just want to stand aside. There's no need for us even to drop down and look at this on the 8-hour time frame. We're just seeing long consolidation. We don't have anything yet developing on the pound Japanese yen. I do want to close this out with you this week by taking a look at the Australian dollar Japanese yen and the New Zealand dollar versus the Japanese yen. Let's take a look and see what's going on with both of those. Now, we have looked at this pair all week because it was showing the greatest strength versus the Japanese yen. There was a lot of positive talk going on between the US and China, and this was definitely taking effect on this pair. But we did, however, see this breakout occurring yesterday, and we decided consciously that we did not want to take this trade. We saw that the Euro US dollar was providing a much better opportunity. We saw that gold was providing a much better opportunity, and we saw that the US dollar Japanese yen was also providing a better opportunity. So we decided to stand aside. You could watch the replay of Thursday's video and see exactly why we decided to do that. And it turned out to be a smart decision. It doesn't look like this breakout's holding right now. At the same time, as it's gone back into this multi-week range, there is a slight uptrend to it for sure, but it's back within this range. It's back within the middle of last week's range. Therefore, it's in no man's land. It's not a pair that's moving in a direction that we do want to play. We did, however, note that if talks did start to look like they were breaking down between the US and China, this would be first take place in the New Zealand dollar Japanese yen, and that would be the pair to short. And sure enough, you could see what's happening right now is you could see this pair is trading towards the bottom of that range. If price does break out here next week, this is going to be another opportunity for us. This is something that we're going to want to take advantage of. So if the current trend that started taking place late this week on Friday continues into early next week, we're going to see New Zealand dollar weakness and Japanese yen strength, most of all dollar strength. So this is an opportunity to look for a short on this pair early next week. This goes to the top of our watch list. If we break down out of this range, we are going to be looking for shorts, and this could provide a very nice opportunity for a retest all the way down here. So this is a pair that we like. This, along with the Euro Japanese yen and the Australian dollar US dollar, are the pairs we're watching going into Monday that we may have trade. We can't chase them yet, but as early as Monday morning, we might have the opportunity to get into those trades. We're prepared ahead of time. We're going to be watching them. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through them Monday morning. We're going to see what's happening then and see whether or not we do have the opportunity. If you don't get a chance to join us for the live stream, and I do welcome you, we'll go ahead and upload that so you can watch it. And each day, go ahead and check in with us and be able to follow these trades and help expand this plan as it develops in real time. I hope you all have a great weekend. Hey, listen, if you haven't already gone ahead and hit that like button, I'd really appreciate that. It inspires me to create more content for you. It helps the YouTube algorithm get this video seen by others who could benefit from it. And it also helps build our community. People are wondering why, with this information that I'm sharing with you guys, why we don't have a greater reach, why we don't have a bigger audience and community. Well, we just started. We just started actually posting regular videos a couple of weeks ago. I just started doing the live stream with you all during the week. So we're just gonna be consistent, keep sharing and keep growing. But if you go ahead and you comment below, share a little bit about yourself, what you're learning here, what you would like to see. If you go ahead and subscribe to that channel, if you go ahead and you hit that like button, I definitely appreciate that. And I look forward to sharing more with you. Have a great weekend, everyone. Have a great next week. Looking forward to sharing more with you. That's it for now. I will see you all later.